This week they debuted a new show on the WWE Network, which is getting a really good amount of original content. Beyond everything with Corey Graves, which is awesome. I'd love to see him take over the color spot from Jerry Lawler. But we had JBL's Legends with JBL. And he's talking with Eric Bischoff. It's weird having Eric Bischoff on good terms again with the E. It makes sense. You know, he's a guy who he's hit a point, he knows what he's done. He wants to get his views across. And with JBL talking to him, JBL has a great mind for business. If you've ever seen him on the Fox Business Channel, he's actually good when it comes to business acumen. That's why he's a self-made millionaire through stocks and investments. So a lot of this was a discussion of Eric, here's where you started, to the rise of WCW. That's the first part. The second part is the fall of WCW. And the fact that JBL knows the financials pretty well, and he brings them up. So you were making a profit. You made this much profit. You made a ton of money. How come they didn't say, let's let him run the Time Warner aspect? You know, you were a guy who made a tremendous amount of money. And of course, when it comes down to it, politics hurt stuff. But hearing Eric Bischoff give his side of it, it was actually really entertaining. And if he didn't quite know how to answer, he's like, you know, that's not how I remember the way that went down. It could be someone else's interpretation of it. It's fine. They did actually talk about, you know, like the NWO. Where did this idea come from? Did you take it from a group that was in New Japan? He's like, part of it came from there. And then he also didn't know who was coming over from the E, so he really couldn't have planned out a lot of stuff. Talk about when he brought over Bret Hart. He's like, yeah, we were forced to do Thunder. I didn't want to do Thunder. He's like, I didn't want to do too much content. Which was interesting to hear somebody talk about. I didn't really want to have to stretch my guys that thin. Because now Vince adds another hour to Raw, and it's killing his content slowly. They mentioned about the cruiserweights. And he was like, I wanted the cruiserweights to be there at the 9 o'clock hour because that was about the time that Raw was coming on. So you wanted to have something that was different from your competition, different from the rest of the show. They did talk about the that'll put butts in the seats moment. Did a good job with that. It's like, would you want to do it again? I love how it's just, here's your time like AWA to WCW, Rise, fall of WCW. You came back to the WWE for a little bit, and he's like, oh, it's a great experience. I loved working here. None about, hey, so you were down in TNA for a little bit. Nope. They touch a little bit on the surface about, you know, Vince Russo and the Jeff Jarrett Hulk Hogan bit. Ironically, Eric gives what he wanted to have happen. Hogan's going to get the belt, and he was going to leave for a while. They were going to do a new belt, put that belt on Booker T, and then Booker T and Hogan were going to have a match to decide who the true champion was. One guy takes the title and leaves. They put the title on another guy. And they have those two guys face off to decide who is the true champion. Man, there was some guy who tried to sell us ice cream in the WWE who tried to do that. It sounds just like some of that ice cream man tried to sell us. I think it worked then too. So really, really interesting watch. This is, of course, about 100 minutes, so it's done in two portions. One is the beginning of Eric Bischoff, his rise to power, WCW just whooping the daylights out of the WWE. And the second half is the fall of WCW, his time in the WWE, as well as JBL kind of going, you know, you're the reason we had the Attitude Era. It's like you're the person who really forced Vince's hand to have to do something. Ironically, I would love to see JBL do a sit-down with Paul Heyman. Because I think a lot of what happened was, and I'll also mention, you know, you had the power plant to produce new guys. We have NXT in the Performance Center. Kind of true. There are certain ideas that Eric Bischoff did that were very good, that Vince McMahon took, modified, and, well, let's be honest. Vince McMahon didn't take the power plant and make NXT. Triple H had an idea and went forward with it. But very interesting to look at it because they're really, you can tell there's no hard feelings. There's no, oh man, wish this happened, wish this could have happened, you know, you suck, I hate you. It was more of a, you know, why didn't you do this? When DX came to your place, why didn't you do that? And they're like, you know what happened? We were done that night. It's like, someone's from the parking lot. He rattles off the list of names in the parking lot. And I'll be honest, I think that if people from WCW would have came to the back and be like, we're going to get them like across the street, we're going to do this. And it was like Ron Simmons, JBL, Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock. And I was like, I'm thinking Shamrock and Blackman at that time probably could have destroyed a lot of WCW's locker room. They discussed, you know, Vince McMahon wanted to fight Eric Bischoff at a pay-per-view. Would one of his pay-per-views. And they were like, let's be honest. Eric Bischoff has a legitimate level of fight experience. He's done boxing, college wrestling, and kickboxing. As well as a trained pilot. Interesting to find out about that. And, you know, against a guy who was just a big, strong, physically imposing individual. That could have made for a pretty good match. If anyone that is watching this, do not put this on WrestleMania 32. It's way past it. You know what? I would watch it. I get the network anyways. McMahon, Bischoff, WrestleMania 32. Do a something on a pole match. And really, really bury the spirit of WCW. But overall, a great interview segment. And if you have the network, this is worth a watch. If you don't have the network, you get 1 month free. And October is going to be a pretty awesome month with all things Lesnar. And if you want to have the network, you can watch for the very low, low price of $9.99 US dollars.